taking everyone on top of the baseline, but he's not your traditional deep returner like you'd expect from a Dominic Thiem, Daniil Medvedev. For me, that's a real indication that you've got a player that's struggling a little bit to find that form, to feel comfortable out there. The good news is for Tsitsipas, it's never as bad as it seems, and it's never as good as it seems. Just got to stay in that grey zone.
Game. First game, second service.
He's just at the top end consistently, Michelson, at the moment. Not any drop off at the start of the second set after a high octane opener. There is a stat that I was having a look at for Steph that kind of sort of underlines the decline that he's had. As I said, he was almost 5 years inside the world's top 10. It was an incredibly long consecutive number of weeks that he was there. 22nd on the list, just 7 weeks shy actually of Stan Wawrinka, who occupied over 230 plus weeks inside the world's top 10. Against top 10ers before October 2022, 119, lost 23. He was almost at 500. Since then, just a couple of wins and 12 losses. And for a guy that is going to benchmark himself against the very best, that's a worrying decline.
Currently patching the men's tennis. Would he be one of those players that you'd put in that bracket as being one of the best ones not to have won a Grand Slam?
I think so. 2 sets to love up against Novak in the final of the French. That's how close he was. And I wonder just how much his world's been a little bit rocked from an emotional point of view and a belief point of view with the emergence very quickly out of the shadows of the big four with Jannik and Carlos. That was supposed to be his destiny.
Game, Tsitsipas. One game.
Who else do you put up there?
I mean, Sasha, obviously.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, he's the one. Could be this year. Comes into the tournament as the second seed. Never looked so bright for him. Fortunately, there's a couple of roadblocks called Jannik Sinner, Novak Djokovic, and Carlos Alcaraz.
Fault.
Just pops out of this backhand a little early here. You can see he brings that right shoulder up and out of it before really making contact with the ball. Body weight going backwards. The ball will inevitably follow.
Out. 15.
Can Steph get something going in this third game of the second set? Potentially dangerous moment there for Michelson, but he diffused it beautifully with that forehand. Rod Laver, the man on the white t-shirt that is his fitness trainer and has been with him for a long time. Steph.
30.
In full flight, Tsitsipas is one of my favourite players to watch. The way he controls the middle of the court, uses his forehand to pull his opponent side to side, looking for any opportunity to sneak forward.
He's so good at going to the strength, Michelson, to open up an opponent's weakness.
Yeah, very willing to serve it wide, create the opening, create the gap in the backhand corner of Tsitsipas. Serves to play the 1-2 punch as opposed to the KO on the first one.
World class.
Michelson.
Johnny Mack would have been happy with that volley. He's absolutely stabbed that into the space. And Steph shadow swinging a forehand that he'd like to have hit, but Michelson grabs the lead 2-1. Now some decent serving and net play there from the American, but a big differential for the two in terms of their return, and that's maybe going to be the difference maker, John, between the two of them.
Yeah, really substantial difference here as you take a look at the Michelson return point. He's hitting that second serve well inside the baseline. It's a real indication of the aggressive intent that he's taking to this match. He wants to find the Stefanos Tsitsipas backhand, so he's really rushing him for time there. Whereas we've got Tsitsipas, who is back behind, almost at the Melbourne side, 2 meters behind. So that indicates the guy's really trying to look for a bit of rhythm. Good racket head speed.
Time.
Yeah, maybe, again, if Steph could chip charge, he could maybe impact what Michelson's thinking, not necessarily the outcome from the racket of the American, but what he's thinking in terms of what he does with the second serve. But back there, he's not much of a threat, really, to the American.
And if there is any little avenue to really rush the American for time, it's through that forehand wing. At the moment, he has all the time in the world to set and unleash a full swing on that second ball.
15 left.
That's the advantage of the spin rate that a single-hander produces. They can access a nice short part of the court, dissect the line, and Tsitsipas has produced a shot of real elegance there. I've called it a functionally extinct shot, the one-handed backhand on the men's tour. Disagree?
It's becoming more and more, it's becoming a rarity, isn't it? Seeing these guys have such control with that two-hander. Also, I think that the balls, the string, doesn't necessarily help the one-hander.
40 left.
One of the real strengths by having a one-hander back in the day was the ability to come over the outside edge of the ball and create a lot of topspin. You saw a lot of those clay quarters back in the day really using that side to great effect. Nowadays you've got this Luxolon string that really can chew up the balls and impart spin almost on itself. You've got guys like Michelson. You've got guys like Michelson who use their, well, in his case, it's more his dominant hand, but using their non-dominant hand to create that rip on the ball, the slower conditions.
I mean, the other thing, obviously, John, that it did was the reach. That was always the thing you used to hear. Reach, you know, one hand has got more reach, but with the open stance shots that all players are playing on the backhand side, that's also gone. So now, as you say, with the string and the ability to kind of drag the ball cross court with the non-dominant hand, not sure where the advantage is, because more often than not, it's that kind of block return on a one-hander rather than the two-handers that can drive through the return with a 200k serve coming at them.
And that's one of the big ones, I think, too, that return of serve. Guys are serving it bigger these days. Speeds are up. If you're not serving it over 200 kilometers, you're probably deemed to have a pretty mediocre serve. It takes an incredible amount of strength to meet that with one hand. So much easier to block with the two, absorb the pace with your top hand.
15-all.
Talk about IQ and execution coming together. Tsitsipas dropping back and Michelson on a second serve just dropping the hammer.
Oh.
When you lose a bit of confidence, I feel it's that kind of shot there that becomes sort of nullified for Steph. He's not moving to the ball. He's actually just waiting for it to come. This is an okay forehand, but look, he's taken it on the way down, which makes it so much harder to generate pace. Below average forehands in this game from the American, just perhaps opening the door here for the Greek star.
And there's that return.
Yep.
201 kilometers an hour. I saw that last night. I was commentating Australian League 2. And time again, Yuri Lehechka is putting down these 210, 215 kilometer an hour rockets. It's so hard to deflect with the one hand. But what you do know from Tsitsipas is that he's going to hang around all day. And he'll keep looking for little openings. He'll change things up. We've seen him multiple times, even in this game, change his return position, go deep. Take it on inside the baseline. He's searching.
Yes.
And there's the benefit of moving the ball all over the rectangle in the way that Michelson has done for the first set and a little bit here, because just watch Steph. He had absolutely no idea where this forehand was going to go. It's got enough to the forehand of Tsitsipas that he created space in the backhand. Absolutely brilliant from both.
Yes.
Great ball striking here. And you know what won it for Tsitsipas? That movement onto the ball. Got back a little quicker than Michelson was expecting. It's this one here. Moves onto the ball. He was deep right here. Takes a half shuffle just behind the baseline. Injects a little bit of pace.
people don't necessarily agree with me, and they'd be right too. I do wonder whether Steph would be better off starting his return position with the backhand grip and then finding his forehand rather than going from forehand to backhand on the evidence that's been generated in recent times.
No, it's a good point, Petch. Buys himself a little bit more time when you're having to fend off those big first serves. A little bit of a different story on the second serve. That first delivery, you need all the time you can.
Advantage, Michelson.
This is becoming a really significant game here.
Yep.
Michelson.
He takes it out of the air once again, and he finishes again where he was a little flawed with a flourish. 3-2. Right, let's take you back to something we've been chatting about, the little battle between the serve and the return. Talk me through it, John.
Great extension with that left arm, driving into the ball, drags his foot up, which gives him that momentum into the court. And on the flip side, we've got Stefanos Tsitsipas trying to fight this one off. Have a look at contact there. So hard to get the timing, first of all, because the ball's coming through so quick. But the keen observer would see that racket actually move in Steph's hand as he changes the grip from forehand to backhand. Struggles to get the timing right. Struggles to contain the pace of the serve. Struggles to gain control.
And the other thing that's pretty noticeable is that maybe he's just not got his return position in the right place. I mean, that is a first serve. He's got both feet off the ground. I mean, it's hard enough to control that return at that pace with a really stable base. But I mean, he's up in the air and he's got it all going on there. I mean, you have got to get everything right to hit the perfect return. Either go further back or come in a little bit so you can keep at least 1 foot on the ground when you're hitting that return.
40 love.
This is the opportunity he's been waiting for. That forehand of Michelson's at the moment is stone cold. Can he take advantage of it?
Cain, Tsitsipas. 3-2.
This would be a little bit of a rare occurrence if Steph were to lose this particular match. It would be the first time he's lost consecutive men's singles first round matches at slams since 2019. Of course, a loss to Kokkinakis in the opening round of the US Open at the back end of last year. Lost to Thomas Fabiano at Wimbledon in 5 sets in 2019. And then a fast improving Andrei Rublev at the US Open in 4 sets.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
First service.
Given the scoreline, that's a big opportunity to reload here for Michelson. Used it effectively.
He goes there time and time again, doesn't he, under pressure. But you did hit the nail on the head, Petch, when you said that Michelson's levels just dropped a little bit, especially out of that forehand wing.
And Steph there, a little conservative with his forehand pace on the cross-court one. Yeah, it was good to direct traffic to the shot that's obviously become the Achilles heel, but there was nothing on it.
Yeah, it was more hoping for the Michelson miss as opposed to forcing the miss there. American not out of danger yet, though.
40-13.
That is so good.
Michelson.
So intelligent.
Michelson leads 4-3.
Salvages a game where he trailed. Love 30, does the American. 4-3. He's hit that off-pace serve quite a few times today into the Tsitsipas backhand that goes, as I say, 90% of the time cross-court. Occasionally, if he flushes one late, it will go down the line, but that is not his preferred way of going, and it sits right in the pocket of the two-hander for Michelson. And not always easy, John, for a big server to kind of dial down the pace in big moments. You can kind of get really seduced in trying to get a cheap point.
He's just so good at absorbing pace from that side, though. He's so comfortable just softening up the hands, redirecting, literally at impact there. You get the feeling, and the good ones, and he's got a very good one, you get the feeling he could pull that cross if he wanted to. Step committed early then and ran out to chase that forehand. Could easily divert that one cross.
Steph had the rare accolade of being the youngest of 30 players at one stage back when he had beaten Federer, Nadal and Djokovic. Swept the big three before he was 21. He was the man on the rise. He had all the momentum. Meteoric rise up the rankings. He was in fact just 5 matches away in 2019 from being the first player since Johnny Mack in 1982 to finish the year as world #1 without winning a major. Struggling with the sun. That was predetermined, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was. He's a guy that's got full control at the moment on this side. And I love the play. I love it. At 4-3, you're ahead. You got the scoreboard pressure. Why not be aggressive? Take a few chances this game.
15-all.
That bit of good fortune just gives him a little bridgehead to build an assault on the Tsitsipas serve at a very crucial stage in this second set. There are some people that think that that would be great entertainment for the fans. I just don't happen to be one of them.
The let serve play on. You know, ATP introduced that at challenger level for a few months. And I'm with you. I don't think that luck should play a big part in tennis. Having said that, I was on my way up and I won 2 challenges with the rule.
It was an intricate way to win the point, but once again his spatial awareness is sensational. First time we've seen the chip return that he was practicing this morning with Robbie Ginepri out there on this court. He got him into play and it got Tsitsipas into big trouble.
But as you said, moves so well for a big fella. Got out wide there with ease. Could have played any forehand. Chose the lob. Right one in the end. Break point. How aggressive will he be here? He's been aggressive all day on second serve returns.
That's the best of tennis. Break point down, back against the wall. Tsitsipas survives.
Well done, Stefanos Tsitsipas here. was so brave, taking the backhand down the line on. Really opened up Michelson. Under the most amount of pressure, produced the goods.
This is called fire.
Oh, this is a great point here. Using the short backhand slice. This one here is just pure feel from that backhand wing. Disguises the drop shot so well. And left Stefanos flat-footed.
Pressure was too much.
Michelson leads 5-3.
And in so many, that's symptomatic of where these two players are in their careers right now. No scar tissue for this man. He is just one spot off his career high ranking. Tsitsipas loitering outside the world's top 10, but that's not a place that he's become accustomed to. And a lack of confidence on the second break point. And Michelson serving for a 2-sets-to-love lead.
Love. Love. 40 love.
Not only sticking the dagger in, but giving it a little twist here. Triple set point.
Cain and second sets.
No way back
Michelson.
for Steph in that set. It's a long way back for the Greek superstar.
By 2-sets-to-love.
He trails by 2-sets-to-love. God, that was a pulsating end to that second set, wasn't it, John? There's so much to savor. So much great tennis again from the 20-year-old.
And it was a real turnaround here in that second set because Stefanos Tsitsipas looked like he had a little opportunity there, but Michelson did such a good job serving at such a high percentage of first serves, as has been the case all day long. Only comes down to 1 or 2 points. Stefanos Tsitsipas really tightened up his unforced errors in that. Only made 3 for the set. There were more winners off the racket of Michelson. Again, came down to 1 or 2 points, but it was the Michelson that played the brave tennis to secure the break. And tennis is cruel, isn't it? 56 total points won. Only 6 points more for Michelson than Stefanos Tsitsipas. And he finds himself 2-sets-to-love down.
It's definitely not kind to your mind. That's for sure.
6 points. And it was off the back, this set, of the Michelson backhand. He was fine to get around and hit forehands. A few more mistakes off the forehand wing. But it was his redirection off the back end. You get the feeling he could pull it absolutely anywhere. Absorbs pace so well. Disguised the drop shot here. Really. He's using all areas of the court. Looks like he has time on the ball.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's the one thing that's kind of stuck out for me with Michelson. You look at his game and, you know, even 12 months ago, it looked maybe he looks a little gangly at times, but it is his ability. You suddenly look at the radar off a serve and you're like, wow, that was 200. And it looked as though he could have gone line or cross with it. And you literally cannot coach that. I know everyone wants to say, but there is a little bit where I genuinely believe some of these players out here just see the ball a little bit quicker than others. He had a couple of really tough losses last year, which I think have revealed his character. You would remember one of them, of course, Jordan Thompson at Los Cabos.
And I think this is where you try to get a bit of solace if you're Stefanos Tsitsipas, because there have been a few moments where Alex Michelson has taken the foot off the accelerator ever so slightly and invited his opponents back into the encounter. Jordan Thompson down 6-1 for love at Los Cabos, had to fight off a few Alex Michelson match points, managed to do so. Jordan would go on to win the tournament, not just in singles, but doubles, and claim his maiden ATP title. That one hurt. And even last week, or 2 weeks ago in Brisbane, I was commentating the match, Petch, and Michelson was in complete control in that first set. He was up 5-2, proceeded to go and lose the next 5 games in a row. There is a little bit of scar tissue there. There has to be. It's whether he's put it back deep in his mind.
Yeah, Wimbledon last year, he actually lost from this position to Lloyd Harris, and he was very close to going up a break in the 5th there. Didn't go up a break, had a match point in the final set breaker. Of course, it's a 10-point breaker. Had all the majors at 9-8, couldn't get across the line. So he does have, as you say, a recent bit of scar tissue from 2 sets to love up. Steph has 3 times come back from this particular position. Once, of course, very famously against Nadal here at the Australian Open. That back in 2021, getting through to the semis of this particular tournament against Musetti, Roland Garros. Musetti's had a couple of those at Roland Garros, of course. Lost to Novak from 2 sets to love up. And Jaime Munar, who we saw have a 5-setter against Casper Ruud yesterday on Rod Laver Arena, lost to Steph in the autumn edition of Roland Garros. In fact, that was a big one for Steph. He'd just come off a loss against Coric at the US Open, and having had 5 match points, he himself imploded in that particular slam. But Michelson at the moment has got this match by the scruff of the neck. Those are the statistics he won't be thinking about for his sake. We did say that this was going to be a tough match for Steph. It is the hardest thing to gain, isn't it? Confidence, but it's the easiest thing to lose.
Yeah, you're spot on. And it's the brutality of playing an individual sport, because you fight your own demons out there. Yes, you can converse with your coach's box now, but the majority of the time you're in your own head. And I think that's the key with Stefanos Tsitsipas. The thing I've noticed in the last 6 months, that slight indecisiveness. And it only takes a split second. Do I go up and attack this ball, or do I hang back? There's split-second decisions. And when that confidence has gone with Steph, he's delayed his thought process.
John Blom just making sure that he listens to where Steph is as we take you around the ground. There's the Rod Laver tram stop, and it has been epic in terms of the crowds getting in. The Australian Open doing a really nice job of swiftly getting these fans into the ground so they can get themselves on the court for the respective matches. This is one of the great tennis venues. It's become a great sporting venue as well, of course, John, here at Melbourne Park.
Oh, isn't it just? It continues to grow into a bigger and bigger spectacle. Not just about the tennis either, it's about the event. It's now a 3-week event. We saw opening week, saw the qualifiers, we saw all the exhibition matches, but there'll be music concerts. There's stuff to do for the young kids. Virtual gaming this year. So much going on that I haven't even explored all parts of the venue.
Yeah, top court where you can go up there, as you say. There's kind of like a wee tennis court there where you can go and play virtually up there. Paddle DJs, there's just an awesome amount going on around the ground. It's not awesome right now for those fans. Their man's in huge trouble.
And if you're Stefanos Tsitsipas here, you want to lean on them right now. Try to engage the fan base. There's no doubt here in Melbourne, his self-titled home slam, he'll have the crowd support. He just needs to find a way to get them involved.
Beautiful faded forehand return from Michelson. And just locking up Tsitsipas in that backhand side. But one of the great attributes that he has is he's not predictable. He doesn't just go there consistently.
Cain, Tsitsipas. First game, third service.
Nice quick hold. But the more problematic of the two disciplines for Steph, the returner serve coming up. How different is it playing a best-of-5 match?
Hugely. If you're Michelson right now, you're just praying that you missed the alert that they changed it to best-of-3. No, it is. You do feel like if you're Stefanos Tsitsipas that you got a little more time to get yourself into the match. Physically, it's a lot different. The pre-season's getting ready for this Australian Open is intense. Got to prepare to go to war for 5 hours. Time on court, so important, the conditioning off the court. But one of the big points of difference is how you handle your emotions over 5 sets. Really impossible to maintain a higher level of energy and emotion for the entirety of a 5-set match. So it really becomes a skill in when to raise your arousal levels and when to just go back down into your shell a little bit. Not only are you playing your opponent, but in a way you're having a battle with yourself. So often we see players suffer cramp, and it's not just their physical conditioning, it's whether they've wasted the energy even walking onto the court. Sometimes played the match before they've even gone out there on the court. I remember watching an Australian in his first best-of-5 set match, a wildcard James McCabe last year, and he was all guns blazing emotionally and ended up suffering cramp in the back end of the second set.
13-15.
Arousal levels a little too jacked up, a little too high, burning too much energy, and that's a skill in itself. When to engage the crowd, when to lift yourself emotionally, when you can take a little breather.
40-15. Fault. 40-30. Cain.
As reliable as the sun coming up in Melbourne. That backhand down the line.
One game.
Do you practice best of 5 matches in the off season?
I think early on in my career I did a little more, just to kind of condition myself as to what to expect, both mentally and physically. And then when you establish yourself on tour, you get to play the 4 slams a year. It's not necessarily a requirement for me. There's that nervous anticipation, I tell you, when a best of 5 set comes, especially when you're faced with some brutal conditions. The year I went on a bit of a run at the US Open and made quarters, it was a brutally hot year, and I remember walking out playing against a young Jensen Brooksby first round. And the heat just hit you. It was hot, humid, heavy conditions as soon as you walked out from the air conditioning onto the court. And there's that little bit of fear in the back of your mind. This could potentially be a long one. I'm about to put myself through pain for potentially 5 sets. Again, like everything, we see a great point from Michelson, really showcasing his movement. But a guy like Alex Michelson, you know, he's had limited 5-set matches in his early career now. In his young career, he's going to be such a better player at Grand Slam level in 12 months' time, in 24 months' time. He's going to continually grow and learn on the go, really, how to handle himself physically and emotionally in this environment.
30.
And it's really contrasting to the women's tour, because physically it's probably one of the easier things, Grand Slam tennis. You get a day off in between each match. You're still playing the best of 3-set format. Maybe a little more emotionally draining given the length of time you're at the venue. But on the men's side of things, you really do need to maximize that day off. You go into your recovery, your ice baths, how you tailor your training schedule throughout the Grand Slam, what you're going to do on the off days. It's a massive learning experience.
Cain. Tsitsipas.
Tries to find the length on the return, and he's done so effectively. Michelson couldn't that time. Tsitsipas 2-1, 3rd set. Yeah, for most mortals, that's the case, isn't it? At 20 years old, you're going to be better at 12, 24 months. There's a bloke called Alcaraz saying, what's taking him so long?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And there's another thing that's been pretty interesting that I've noticed, Petch, and that's the backhand placement in the rally. And we see Tsitsipas not necessarily having full control over that side. A lot of those balls through the middle corridor. He's actually trying to get cross-court, not quite finding the mark, whereas look how much Michelson's directed his ball both down the line and cross-court. Very few balls down the middle corridor, and that's not allowing Stefanos Tsitsipas to get around and find that forehand, which is the matchup he wants, isn't it?
Which begs the question, strategically, why isn't he going down that line more with his backhand? Because that would force Michelson to go cross-court more often. Not every time, of course, he can go back down the line with his forehand, but why?
I think it's more clarity in the head, right? I think it's someone who's not in full control of where he's directing the traffic. You got to realize it's only a split second. It's hundredths of a second can be the difference between being able to get that timing to whip it cross court and get it down the line. And if you Stefanos Tsitsipas and you see that there, you're thinking, this is my chance to break. That Sun playing havoc up the far end.
A good example of what John's just highlighted there with the backhand down the line. And you go there because that actually from Michelson was more of a redirect to kind of change the pattern of the rally than for a winner, which is what a lot of people take their backhand down the line. But you have to back your athleticism to get it cross court if you're going to take it at that pace.
Oh, yeah. And that's the danger of going down the line and not quite hitting your mark. It exposes your movement, and that couldn't have worked out any more perfect there, Petch, because this is what you alluded to. Look at this one. Doesn't quite get it close enough to the sideline there. Really exposes your court position.
John's a bit of pace because of the sun. He's having to throw it further to the right and a little more spin. He's not getting the 200 Ks on it, but sometimes the +1 shot can be problematic for a player because they're blinded by the sun and they can't actually organize themselves quickly enough. That doesn't seem to be a problem.
That's the hardest thing when you're serving in the sun, is that next ball.
Backhand down the line. Open up the court for Tsitsipas. Didn't quite exploit it straight away.
I know when I saw the server serving into the sun, I'd really test him early on with a few deep middle returns. Try to get the ball back as quickly as possible, because your reaction times are a little bit slower. You can't pick up the ball immediately.
40-13.
Steph going back, looking for a forehand return here, you would imagine. Hit his backhand. And here comes a break point for Tsitsipas. First time he's got to that situation, he has managed to push forward. And how much was the sun an assist?
Well, I think you'd have to say that it definitely was. Under pressure in the previous two sets when the sun wasn't a factor, Michelson time and time again went flat and hard to the Tsitsipas backhand. Had to drop his pace throughout that game. That last serve, only 183 kilometers an hour. Didn't even go to the backhand because he cut it. He put a bit of slice on the ball to allow him that little bit of safety. Tsitsipas all of a sudden found the return and made the break.
Love 15.
This is also the first time in the match where Tsitsipas has served first in a set. So by holding, he's been able to create scoreboard pressure by serving with a lead. And as you know, Petch, when you're behind on the scoreboard, even if you're on serve but you're behind, there's that little bit of added pressure. Makes you think just that little bit more.
Couple of loose shots in this game. He'll be hoping that doesn't prompt a detour back to deuce. Wants to close things up. Well, I don't think Michelson's wilting in the Melbourne sun just yet, but that is a big step forward in his quest to come back from 2 sets to love for Tsitsipas. 4-1. Never sure we're going to gain the advantage in those moments, but there's no question that the sun was a problem. Michelson just chatting to John Blom. And you talked about it at the start of the match, just being able to kind of maintain that level all the way through in a best-of-5 match. It's not always easy, and it is a learning curve for these players. And I remember I practiced a lot with Stefan Edberg when he was living in London, when he was playing tennis professionally. That's where he based himself out of. And he always said to me, you've got to push hard in the opening couple of points of every game. And then you kind of see where you're at, and then maybe take your foot off at certain stages. But I never felt comfortable enough ever taking my foot off. It felt like I needed to play flat out all the time just to stay with them. But that is an art that the better players kind of learn, and it just leaves them with a little bit in reserve at times. As we take a lovely glide over Melbourne Park, Margaret Court Arena. 1573 there on the right. There's the Rod Laver Arena. We are at the back, John and I, there in that white building that we've just dipped into. And we might be here a while. Just a little disengaged for the time being, and he doesn't want to allow that to happen for too long.
15-13.
He needs to remember, if he can hang on to this game, Tsitsipas may also have a little bit of a problem with the sun from that end, and he could capitalize on that. Yeah, that was the play, as you say, John, he couldn't use to get himself out of trouble in the previous game.
Yeah, really smart serving, though, on that occasion. Notices Tsitsipas sitting back deep. He actually wanted to buy himself a bit of time to find the forehand. Follows it in with the serve volley.
13-14.
Bit of inspirational improvisation there from Tsitsipas out of his right hip. And out of nowhere, break points coming thick and fast.
That's the one where he's kind of jumping at impact. Looked all out of whack then, really off balance.
Advantage Michelson.
Does an unbelievable job, the 20-year-old, of half volleying off his baseline. Not only does he just pick it up, but he just redirects it with a little bit of interest. That should have been neutral at best for Tsitsipas. A little bit of a tendency, doesn't he, on that forehand, to cover over the top of the ball a little too quickly. Quite a few of the misses get turned over into the net from Michelson.
Advantage Michelson.
Yeah, he stabs at this volley. Brilliantly set up. Approach to the right side. Perhaps took it a little too casually. Look, he doesn't go and meet it out in front there. Waits for the ball to come to him.
Advantage Michelson.
Stays in the conversation in this third set, sorry. The American not ideally located in this set, as he has been the previous two, but the sun not ideally located for Tsitsipas.
He's got to create a bit of scoreboard pressure here, does the American.
Love 15.
But it's funny, isn't it? Because different ball tossers have a different effect. And it didn't look as if the sun was bothering Tsitsipas all that much then.
Yeah, I agree with you.
His serve speed remains the exact same. So perhaps a non-issue.
A little feast or famine at the moment for the American. A couple of winning returns, a couple of easy points for Tsitsipas. Still dicey moments for the Greek star here at 30-all. I mean, it felt like a good shot from Tsitsipas here. Look at where Michelson is. But that is brilliantly played. Was Tsitsipas a little deep off the net?
Yeah, perhaps. Tsitsipas did hit the drop shot from behind the baseline, so he did have a greater distance to take that aggressive net position, but still, perhaps underestimating the speed of the American.
Let's first. Advantage Michelson.
Well, just perhaps Michelson's willingness to occasionally, and it has been very occasionally, take that second serve on and come in behind it and drill it with a two-hander. Force Steph to go a little bigger with the second serve on a big point, trying to keep his man at bay.
Wait for the sticks. Just grab that. If you can.
Oh, I think I'm not exactly sure what to do here.
Just leave it. Just leave it.
And despite the scoreline, Michelson holding a 2-sets-to-love lead. We did identify that it's come down to a few points. Michelson's had the chance to get the break back in this set. Hasn't capitalized on those little key moments. Perhaps the door is closing in this third set for the young American.
Tsitsipas not out of the woods yet.
Yes.
Michelson's speed has really impressed me. For such a big, and I say it respectfully, lanky figure. He's so quick to get forward.
And recover. That was the most important thing there. One thing to get there, it's another thing to get back. Steph sticking to his task so well.
Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas leads 5-2.
To the absolute delight of his fans here on the John Cain Arena, he hangs on. Game away from taking this third. And that's a big moment in the match, not just because it puts him within a game and a 5-2 lead. It really does feel like the first time that he's come out of one of those skirmishes which has been sort of nip and tuck with the advantage. It's always gone to Michelson up until this point, but Steph survived that.
Didn't he just? And the crowd recognise that exact fact. He said he'd need to get them on side to claw his way back into this encounter, and they are responding with the Zorba.
Time.
He's just dropped the DJ a few dollars.
That's unfair, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's probably unfair.
That's just going to increase the temperature for these fans. Michelson still checking the ball toss. And again, John, drop off in pace on the first serve. He is still having problems with the sun.
Great hitting. You're not wrong on that serve. I really wanted to watch the ball toss to see how he is countering the Sun's position. He was a lot lower there, not wanting to get it full extension. Of course, when you're lower with the ball toss, you lose pace.
Bit of a giveaway that as well. He put both fingers in his eyes like he was saying he was getting blinded.
30-all. Mr. Tsitsipas is requesting to see a review. Thank you.
First time since he's been having a problem with the sun from that end that he's been able to slip one out wide into the backhand side on the outside.
Looking for a forehand here as Tsitsipas deep in the court.
Defended the first one effectively. Nothing he could do with the second one. Flash of brilliance from Tsitsipas. Set point.
Third serve, Tsitsipas. 6-2. Michelson leads by 2 sets to 1.
Tsitsipas superior in that third set by some margin, dropping just a couple of games. All to play for here on the John Cain Arena. And he's just half the deficit by 50%. It's a big, big margin. Quality set of tennis behind the first serve for Steph. Second serve points won. Obviously massive drop off for the American. He'd been protecting his serve so well up until that stage. And a very clean set of tennis in terms of winners to unforced errors, John.
Yeah, it definitely was. That second serve points won on the Michelson serve. Quite alarming there at 20%. That's definitely dropped off. But as we've said time and time again, this match so far has come down to a few key moments. The sun played a big factor in the eyes of Alex Michelson, but it was Tsitsipas who executed a little bit better on those breakpoint opportunities. Tsitsipas had every opportunity looking to use his forehand to dictate traffic. Took more aggressive positions in the baseline exchanges. Got to the net more often. And he was good in this set with Stefanos Tsitsipas. And perhaps the tide is turning ever so slightly.
Vanishing thing, margins separate success and defeat at times in tennis. No different today. Michelson will have to be at his absolute best here.
And perhaps what is very significant is that break of serve in the final game of the third set. It allows Stefanos Tsitsipas to once again control proceedings here by serving first and create a bit of scoreboard pressure.
15-all.
Throughout his career, Stefanos Tsitsipas has always been a good front runner. Really clever play here from Alex Michelson, using his forehand down the line 2 times in a row wanting to get into the backhand cross-court trade-off.
Michelson poised for the perfect start in this fourth set.
15-14.
He's gone tee a lot on break points on the ad side. He was looking for it.
Cain, Michelson.
One of those players, Michelson, that
First game, full serve.
is very keen to play with the scoreboard in his favour in terms of those moments. He doesn't overplay them. There's so many players that feel as though they've got to get on the front foot, particularly against marquee players and drill winners and make it happen for them. Michelson very happy just to allow his opponents to have to deal with the pressure of the moment and not give them anything.
How's your Greek pitch?
Yeah, it's not great, but that was definitely not the most positive staff meeting that team's had. And unquestionably, they are there to absorb some of the frustration that he's feeling, something to do with the racket and what have you, but more about the fact that he's lost his serve. Talked about how easy it is to lose confidence and how hard it is to gain it, and it can be even swifter in matches. The luxury of pace with this kind of timing is just dreamlike for most people. I mean, just lazy, and then it accelerated off the strings as though he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, some players just have such good timing that it looks effortless. And it's not effortless, but it looks it. And he's definitely one of those players. Another one, probably the best at doing it right now, is Jannik Sinner. It just explodes off the racket without fuss or fanfare. Oh!
Michelson.
Well, he's gone with pace and power so often off that back end wing. But he just goes to prove that he can go with finesse and guile. Have a look at this. Just creeps over the net, and this one dies on impact.
That was like Jeanette pre-short game, wasn't it?
At Royal Melbourne.
Pulled out the lob wedge.
Yeah, great point. This is where, when you've lost a couple of tight ones in 2024, this is where, if you're Alex Michelson, you just want that security blanket of a double break.
Out. Set it up.
It's a huge second serve. Like, that is throwing caution to the wind. 184 kilometers an hour. No wonder it caught Michelson off guard.
Yeah, he's running hot right now. If Michelson can make enough returns here, there's a potential to get that second break you've just been talking about. Hang on to his serve. It will give him an opportunity just to cool the temperature in his mind. That team may not be looking forward to the new coaching rules that he can get up close and personal with them after this game.
Cain, Tsitsipas.
Solid holder serve.
Michelson leads 2-1 for
Michelson in charge. Couple of sets to 1 and 2-1. Tsitsipas still looking over at his corner. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of a verbal volley as we go to a place where there's going to be certainly a lot of noise next year, or this year is at the Ashes.
Yeah, won't that be fascinating? I think they'll have the English in bits.
It's this year, isn't it? Isn't it the Boxing Day test coming up with the Ashes this year over at the MCG? One of those kind of don't miss sporting events that you need to go to. I know you're from north of Australia, but I'm sure you still agree with that.
No, it is a ripper. Also the home of the AFL Grand Final. It is Australia's Sporting Coliseum.
Ten and a half thousand fans can pack into the John Cain Arena, and it has always been one of the most popular courts here at Melbourne Park. A true fan favourite. Actually a bigger capacity than the Margaret Court Arena. This man has the capacity to upset some of the biggest names in tennis. Will he do so today?
Set it up. 14 love.
Always thinking, always dialing through the potential options that he has at his disposal just to throw his opponent out of sync. And that was a lovely little off-pace delivery. One of the hardest things about coaching is to not make a player's kind of weakness or an issue that they have with a stroke a bigger problem and amplify it in their mind. I think one of the problems for Steph now in the last sort of 12 months, it must be impossible for him to block out the noise surrounding his backhand. Best piece of advice anyone ever gave me was if your player's struggling with a certain stroke, the next day after it, they're very well aware of it. You're very well aware of it, but actually just go on the practice court the next day and work on something else so they think that maybe you thought it was the other thing that was the problem rather than the back end, and then just start sort of working on it subtly.
Wim Facet, I was listening to him speak at a coaches conference just a few days ago. You see the coach of Iga Swiatek, his coach Kim Clijsters, Naomi Osaka.
Actually, it's easier to say the people he hasn't coached.
Has great success with the women, and one of the techniques that he adopts as a coach is what he called the 20-80. 20% of the time, do some technical work on areas of the game that needed improvement, areas of the game that his player was struggling with. And then he'd go 80% of the time into those areas that the player felt good with, just to reinforce that positivity. Create a good feeling training environment, as he described it.
Yeah, I definitely think with Steph, if you could just modify the backhand grip a little bit, maybe, particularly for the return, help him out a little bit, it would take away the pressure that he feels that's on himself. It's like, oh, I had a problem with this because of the technique, not because of me. Try and take it off the player. Quick audition for Dancing with the Stars by Michelson.
If you'd pulled that off, it would have been ridiculous, wouldn't it? I don't think he was too far away. Oh, a little late.
Game, Tsitsipas. New balls, please.
Once again, Steph doing all he can just to stay in the conversation in this fourth set. He's done a good job. So many different types of coaches out there, John.
Yeah, with all different philosophies.
And everyone I'm sure that you've worked with has come up with something that's slightly different here and there.
Oh, for sure. I was someone that didn't love a lot of information being thrown at me. Paralysis by analysis. I felt a little overwhelmed if I was being fed too much information. Also, I was quite an up and about type of person, so formed a really good partnership with various coaches. One in particular, a guy called Mark Draper, who works with Rinky Hijikata and Adam Walton, having great success there. And Mark was a really calming influence on me. The yin to my yang.
Big drama unfolding under the roof on the John Cain Arena as we'll look over Melbourne Park back to the CBD. And this is a happy slam for anyone that comes here, from fans, players, people that work here. Just a nice 15-minute stroll from that part of town. Ease of access, the hard work done by the players. Michelson, 2 sets to 1 up and a break.
Love 15.
Couple of quick points, and Michelson just going off to compose himself.
Fault. Let's second serve. Fault. Love.
Well, he's been soft serving Tsitsipas when he's gone deep in the past. That one, just a little hint of panic. He's got himself into trouble. Can he get himself out of it?
I think he wanted a little more time then. I think he wanted a bit of a delay then, did Tsitsipas.
Well, that will pad Tsitsipas's stats in terms of return games won, but it was Michelson that broke himself.
For me, that's the real first sign that there's a little bit of tension in the arm of Alex Michelson. Perhaps it's those tight matches that he lost in 2024 creeping into his mind, but perhaps he had his eye on the finish line a little too soon. What I noticed when Michelson played Thompson in Brisbane,
it's been called in,
was when things got a little tense and tight, his reaction was to come forward on absolutely everything, and at times he made a few poor decisions as to the moment when to come forward. It's something maybe that we can watch in these tense moments. And that one only there, just got the edge of the line. In fact, I'm hearing word it was in by 1 millimeter.
Michelson magic in Melbourne. Out of nowhere.
He put on an absolute strike show with this backhand down the line winner. point was done. If he doesn't hit that with that type of accuracy, the point was over because he had fully committed. What a way to bring up 3 break points. One saved.
15-14.
This goes one of 2 ways here. If Tsitsipas gets out of it, the momentum shift is huge.
That's for service.
If he doesn't, the finish line has never been closer.
Of despair, having lost his serve. Elation again for Michelson.
Michelson leads 4 games to 3.
Who regains the break. 4-3. What a game, but more importantly, what a shot. Let's take you back. Middle of that game. John Millman, talk us through it.
Well, it was all Tsitsipas, wasn't it? He had Michelson running from side to side, taking up the offensive position, makes the right decision to come in off that. Michelson running 40 metres nearly in total. Look how far back he is behind the baseline. Wait for it. It's this next one. He's back behind the Melbourne sign, fully commits to the line. He's in the shadow. He's nearly in the first row. Shot of the match, perhaps shot of the tournament.
Well, there's been a few players in the off-season getting engaged, putting the ring on the finger. He's too young for that, but he could put a ring on that. That was as beautiful as it comes. And the ringing of applause was well worth it. And that was a big moment for him because he didn't have to marinate in the mistake of the service game for too long. And sometimes you can kind of be tortured for 20 minutes or so thinking what might have been, because suddenly you're behind in the score having been ahead, but he hit back straight away.
It's a real kick to the guts, isn't it, for Tsitsipas? Gets the fortunate break off the racket of Michelson, but can't consolidate. But I'll tell you what.
Love 15.
He's just turned up the heat a little with that return.
Love 13.
And Michelson's just got to take his time here. It feels like he's really rushing through his last 2 service games. And perhaps he got a wise word then from Ginepri. Go to the towel, slow it down.
A little bit easier for him to be trailing love 30 in this game. Wasn't self-inflicted. Some good play from Tsitsipas. Carved out this chance.
Oh.
It's a big miss though, that serve. Oh, he goes to his trusty sidekick there. His two-handed backhand. That's his sidearm, isn't it? He pulls that one out. He doesn't shoot a blank here. This one is pure perfection.
Ran a little bit straight at the ball there, not to the side of it. He was a bit tucked up. Just needed to hit the target, couldn't.
Juice.
Did the hard part. Tsitsipas, quality backhand return. But he just couldn't find the forehand when he needed it the most. What a reprieve for Michelson.
Advantage Tsitsipas.
Tsitsipas has upped his return speed noticeably in this game, taking full cuts at the ball. Perhaps a body serve is on, but you get the feeling Michelson wants the free point.
Game, Tsitsipas. 4 games all.
Tsitsipas was up on the baseline, and that was a pretty quick second serve there that obviously Michelson went with. Could have probably put in the three-quarter kicker and still found the backhand return. Doubles came thick and fast in his last couple of service games for Michelson.
Love 15.
And it really has been a tale of two halves. The opening 2 sets, service games were won with ease. This 4th set, I think both players would pay a lot of money just to have an easy hold. It's a great shot.
15 all.
Oh my goodness. What was that?
15, 13.
I've just seen the serve speed. I mean the return speed.
Given what he'd just seen flash across him, Tsitsipas going back to the same stroke, that was brave. It was also the right play.
Well, the return was a bit of self-preservation. Managing to jag an awkward one out there for Tsitsipas, but he was up to the task. Gets up to this ball real quick, closes the net hard, the lob's on. Tsitsipas up to the task.
As has been some sequence of events at the back end of this 4th set. The perfect scenario, ultimate jeopardy. No one knows what's coming next.
It's a game of Russian roulette right now. You don't know if it's going to be a double fault or a 151km/h return winner. There's a bit of everything, and it is exciting. Oh, no!
Advantage Michelson.
Once again, Tsitsipas blindsided by the brilliance of the return on the forehand side.
This is ridiculous tennis.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Well, Michelson was a little passive. He was hoping that an error would come off the racket of Stefanos Tsitsipas. But hope all he wants, because that was brilliance.
My, he has done it this time off the two-hander. Three of the greatest returns you'll ever see in this game. Absolutely sensational. When he doesn't have time to think, it's all working out very nicely.
Let's listen. Fault. Advantage, Michelson.
Michelson doing the right thing there. Didn't try and overplay, found the backhand of Tsitsipas. Can he find the break once again?
Oh. Game, Michelson.
And both players tossing away their serves with double faults.
5 games to 4.
And that feels an expensive one for Tsitsipas. Michelson will serve for the match. How much was that double fault earned by the way that Michelson returned in that particular game? We'll never know. But they were three of the greatest returns you will see from Michelson. Once again, underlines this man's ability. He has shown John Millman a little frailty in terms of the mentality when he's had the lead in this fourth set.
Oh my goodness, I had to get a tweet out because people had to see that to believe it. It was just ridiculous. I mean, how is this guy just sitting down as cool as a cucumber?
He's not as cool. He's not that cool, let's be honest.
The question has to be asked now. Can Michelson hold his nerve? He's been broken his last 2 service games. This is it.
The moment of truth. On the cusp of the biggest win of his career at a major.
Thank you. 15 love.
Much more positive start to this service game than his previous couple.
And that's a nerve settler. Get off to a 2-point lead here. That'll calm down anyone. He's not done yet.
30-15.
Well, the second serve has to be said. It's deserted him in this fourth set under pressure.
Tsitsipas extended the rally as long as he could. Made Michelson work for this moment.
Sets to 1, 7-5, 6-3, 2-6, 6-4.
And in Melbourne, a new star is born. Alex Michelson picking up the biggest win of his career at a major.
Alex Michelson.
Well, what a moment.
Yes.
The young Californian. They love him here, don't they? Stefanos Tsitsipas. Might not have been his time, but he'll be back.
Yeah, the first time since 2019, as we said earlier, that Tsitsipas has lost in the opening round of a major. Lost to Kokkinakis in New York, a first-round exit here, a place where he's been to the final before back in 2023. Doing the right thing while he's hurting, no doubt, of signing the autographs from the many fans that have supported him along that journey. 3 other semis at this particular tournament, but more soul-searching for the Greek superstar as he looks for that elusive form, John, that seems to have deserted him for the time being.
Yeah, it's back to the drawing board for Stefanos Tsitsipas. But take nothing away from this kid from California. What a moment for him. It didn't come easy. He had to fight a few demons.
Bring your bag if you like, and then you can get going.
Sometimes as well, John, you get a flare that just goes up and you see somebody where they are at the moment. And for Michelson, that was a big moment.
Huge moment, and he'll be so much better for that in these tight situations at Grand Slam level. You said it before, his star is on the rise.
Let's hear what the American has to say.
Well, Alex, Congratulations, mate. We've earmarked you as a future star for quite some time now, but that's your first win over a top 20 player at a Grand Slam. Well done. How did you do it?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, just tried to stay super composed out there today. I knew it was going to be a battle in the end. Serve started letting me down a little bit in the fourth, but super happy I got to get through it. It's all about the mindset. I came in with the proper mindset, and yeah, I executed the game plan.
At times, you can make this game look absolutely effortless. I think we know why, because between the ages of about 4 and 15, you used to hit every day with your mum, Sandra. Is this right? How much do you credit her to all of your success?
Yeah, I'm sure she's watching right now, but yeah, I mean, we hit 1,000,000 balls from the baseline every day. We'd go like 30 minutes up the middle, then we go across each way for like an hour and a half. I mean, we would just go out there, and she would never miss a ball. I mean, she's incredible, but no chance I'd be here without her. So thanks, Mom. Love you.
And Alex, a lot of players have different interests. You know, they drive fast cars or they go skiing. But as a kid, you used to collect coins. Is this correct?
Yeah, when I was a little younger, I copied my brother because he started doing it, and I would just do everything he would do. But yeah, besides coin collecting and video games, I didn't do too much outside of tennis and school, obviously. But,
How many coins were in the Alex Michelson collection?
probably like 300. 250, 300. I've got a decent bit, probably worth a couple $1,000s. I haven't checked in a couple years. It's somewhere in my closet.
That kind of got me thinking. So in the formalities, when we have the coin toss, is that when you get really jacked up, really amped up, you have a look at the coin and you think, wow, I'd love to put that one in my pocket?
I would be lying if I say that I haven't thought of that before. I've definitely thought of that. I want to collect these AO coins, but they won't let me. I mean, it's tough out here. It's tough.
We got to give it to our young tennis hotshots, but can we get you an AO coin? Would you like one?
I would love one, yeah. Throw a Fiesta if I got a coin, yeah.
A Fiesta. There you go, John Cain Arena. Well, congratulations moving through to round 2. Well done, Alex.
Thank you.
Duncan McKenzie, the questions there, and he's going to now have to deliver. I didn't see him pass the coin over there, John.
Well, his hand went in his pocket, and I thought a coin was going to come out.
That's what I thought as well. He's just set him up there beautifully, and then he's just disappointed him by not giving him the coin. That's brutal. This guy loves coins, and he's just sort of set him up. And anyway, you could see there from that throw. This man is a natural left-hander, but plays tennis right-handed, and boy, didn't he need that backhand today. It was some shot, came up at the right time at so many times. And just getting over that big hurdle of your first big win at a major is so significant. I wonder how far he can go this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the game, doesn't he? As we see the match summary, both players serving at an incredibly high level. It was the double faults, though, at the end there, with Michelson had to overcome. Similar winners, similar unforced error count, as reflected by only being 4 points in at 122 points to 118. It's a game of fine margins. Michelson got the better of the great Greek man.
Yeah, given some of those tough losses that he had last year, Lloyd Harris match point at Wimbledon from 2 sets to love up, and Jordan Thompson in Los Cabos from a set and 4 love up, and match points at 6-5 as well. Those are the sort of big ones that can maybe just put paid to those and put them in the past where they belong, and he can put them under lock and key. Respect from Steph. A portrait of pain for the Greek superstar, but another American is up and potentially going to get a career high ranking by the end of this particular tournament. It's been very good times for American men's tennis. And he is most definitely going to be one of the lighthouses of that particular generation that are coming through. McCabe and Landeluthe is the potential next opponent for Michelson, but for now he is just going to revel in that particular victory.
And that draw opens up, doesn't it, Petch? McCabe, the wild card, is up against the qualifying Landeluthe. You wouldn't say Kachanov has been in the greatest of form. Potentially an encounter with Demonor awaits, but there's plenty of water to go underneath that bridge before we get there.
Absolutely. Thanks, John. It's been a great pleasure to spend the last, what was it, almost 3 hours with you. What a contest, what a conclusion to it. It is a magnificent day here in Melbourne for Alex Michelson.
Hala.
When will we see it?
Well, hello and welcome to the Australian Open 2025, and specifically here on the Cain Arena. It's day 2, and we have the second seed in the women's singles, Iga Swiatek, in action, taking on Katerina Siniakova. We're in the bottom half of the draw, and I think we are ready to go with the players.
It's time to introduce the players into Cain Arena for this women's singles match at the Australian Open. Please welcome from Czechia, Katerina Siniakova. And from Poland, Iga Swiatek.
Well, here comes Iga Swiatek. There's been a lot going on in her world the last few months. A turbulent end to 2024. We'll talk more about that, but it's a new beginning, if you like, in this 2025 season. She'll be hoping that the off-court turbulence, the failed doping test and the 1-month ban will be behind her. She has a new coach in her corner and will very much be looking forwards now. She comes in here ranked number 2 in the world, was ranked 1 last year. In fact, she's been at the summit of the rankings for the best part of 3 seasons, but well, maybe just had a little dip in the last 12 months or so, as reflected in the ranking. She'll be taking on Katerina Siniakova,
Tossing the coin for this women's
it's the first
singles
meeting
match
between the
is
two,
8-year-old
surprising in many
Lachlan
ways, with
from
both of them been on tour for so long.
Venezuela.
Siniakova, a very capable player, the world #1 doubles player. My name's Colin Fleming, alongside me is Andrea Petkovic, and well, this is an interesting first-round match potentially, Andrea.
Not easy for Iga Swiatek at all. This is a tough player in Katerina Siniakova that she's facing. Yes, she's the best doubles player in the world, but she's also a very capable singles player. So this is a real test for Iga right off the bat. I'm excited for this one. This could be a good one.
At the very end of the coin toss, we'll be taking a photo facing both ways, okay? Apart from that, live VLCs, the close calls will be made on the big screens, 25 seconds on the clock, should be in every corner. Obviously, as the receiver, you follow the reasonable pace of the server. For the towel boxes, it's marked on the inside, red or blue. If you can take the red one, you take the blue ones, please. Any questions? No? Well, Katerina, would you like AO or John Newcomb? So she chose AO. Here you go. Will you do the spin for us? Like your practice? Yeah. New, beautiful. And AO it is. Receive? Okay, then let's start with a photo that way. Yeah. Oh, wait, you're gonna be in the photo. It's for you, mate. It's for you. You're the main guy. You're the main guy. Awesome, and then the other way, please. Right there. Turn around, over there.
He's like, I'm good, guys.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Cute.
Thank you.
These are the key moments for the hot shots.
for you.
Julie
Here we go.
Kienle of Norway, the umpire for this one, taking care of the housekeeping there, making sure the photos were taken. As I say, the housekeeping done, and we are getting ready to go here on the Cain Arena. Second match of the day, big win for Alex Michelson over Tsitsipas to kick things off. Iga Swiatek will be hoping to avoid a second upset of the day on this court. It's a beautiful day here in Melbourne. We had 6 hours or so rain delay on the outside courts yesterday, but nothing of the such, certainly at the moment. Beautiful sunshine. Here is Katerina Siniakova. She's 28 years of age, and as you can see there, ranked 50 in the world in singles, but we already mentioned it. She comes in here as the top-ranked doubles player in the world. Seeded 1 in the doubles draw alongside Taylor Townsend, 9 times a Grand Slam champion, but she's won 5 tour titles in singles as well. So as you say, Andrea, we shouldn't be ruling her out in this form of the game.
No, absolutely not. She was in the top 30 before, as you mentioned, has won titles before. The only surprising thing to me, she hasn't done particularly well at Grand Slam level. 1/4 round to her name, which is surprising to me. On clay, I thought she would have a few more second weeks under her belt, but it's never too late in tennis. You always get a new chance a couple of months in, so why not here? Why not at the French Open? But she has a very big challenge ahead of her.
3 minutes.
The second best player in the world right now. This one right here.
Yeah, it certainly does. In the form of Iga Swiatek. Still just 23 years
Crazy,
of age.
right?
Incredible when you consider what she's already achieved in the game. 5-time Grand Slam champion in singles. 4 of those, of course, at the French Open. She's won the last 3 editions of that tournament. She also picked up the US Open title in 2022. Her best result here, a semi-final that same year, 2022. So she's looking to get her hands on the title here for the first time, but as we mentioned just after the walk-on, she'll certainly be hoping, I think, that certainly the tail end of 2024 is behind her now. It was a very, well, the word I would use, turbulent end to the year. A big shock for her, the failed drugs test in August. You know, a 3-week period that she described as some of the toughest times of her life, not just her career. You know, everything she's done being questioned, but that hopefully now is behind her. A 1-month ban served. A new coach now in her corner, Wim Fizet, very experienced, and you would think she'll be trying to look forwards now, Andrea.
I think so. I think so. I saw her at United Cup, called almost all of her matches, and she looked good there. So I'm positive that there is no residue of this end of her season, and the weather is beautiful.
That's the type of day you want to play tennis on, I think, isn't it? Not too hot, not much of a breeze, really. We will be going into the heat of the day. Just after 2:15 local time. This player is well used to these sort of conditions by now in their careers. Swiatek's described Wim Fizet's, you know, his support, his empathy. He came into the team during the doping sort of case and the settlement of that. So he, I'm sure, will be happy that that's behind them as well. There's Fizet on the left of shot. I mentioned it before, it's a first meeting between these two players. The current world number 2, Iga Swiatek, against the world number 50 here, Katerina Siniakova, but the world number 1 doubles player. So certainly a lot of big match experience. And
ladies and gentlemen,
this will be an interesting test
of 3 tiebreak sets.
for Swiatek to start this year's Australian
Siniakova won
Open.
the toss and chose to receive.
Swiatek seeded 2, meaning, of course, that we're in the bottom half of the draw. It's an interesting section, actually. We'll get into it, I'm sure, more throughout the match. But
and no warm-up.
The other seed, Katerina Alexandrova, Emma Raducanu, Grand Slam champion in there. There's some interesting tests that lie ahead, but this is certainly one here for Swiatek. We don't have the win predictor this year, Andrea.
I miss this win predictor that was almost always wrong.
So we're gonna have the Andrea predictor instead.
Okay.
You have to put Swiatek favorite.
Definitely. I think she will win this. As I said, I saw her at United Cup. I think she's in very good form. I was worried because I know how anxious she can be, that some of that doping case would have had some residue emotional, but she looked very good at United Cup. I saw her chatting a lot to Wim Fizet. They seem to have a very nice communication with each other. I saw a few things that we will get into that they've worked on in her technique to make her more resilient on the quicker courts that the Australian Open traditionally has.
So here we go, John Cain Arena, second match of day 2. It's women's first round singles action. Second seed Iga Swiatek against the world number 50, Katerina Siniakova. Fleming and Andrea Petkovic with you for this one.
Iga Swiatek to serve. Ready?
The world number 2 is ready to kick things off.
How? 15. 13.
It's the 7th Australian Open for Iga Swiatek. As I mentioned, her best result, semi-final in 2022, where you might remember she was beaten by Danielle Collins.
I remember this match very well.
Fantastic run that year. Collins going on to lose to Ash Barty in the final. But 3rd round last year, lost to Noskova. And 4th round in 2023 for Swiatek. She'll certainly have ambitions of going further than that this year, and that's a good start. She's got herself up and running here.
Yeah, very good start. And you see already the slightly changed service motion. They are working on making it more fluid with Wim Fissette. If you remember from last year, she took the racket up straight away, waited there until the ball toss happened. Here we have him. Wim in the back is Daria Abramovic, her mental coach, and she was not there at the United Cup, which I thought was a nice choice for them, because Wim and Iga, as I said, were chatting the entire time, always sitting together, talking about tennis, and I think it was a great time for them to get to know each other in these competitive situations where you have the coach on your bench at United Cup and can talk things through.
Katerina Siniakova to
Swiatek on the board, and as umpire Julie Kienle confirms, Siniakova to serve here. Anyone tuning in for the first time to this year's Australian Open might notice the coaches' corners, the coaches' boxes, if you like. They've been brought very much court side on the main 3 courts, Rod Laver, Margaret Court, and here on John Cain. A mistimed forehand there from Swiatek. You mentioned the serve, Andrea. A bit of work on the forehand as well.
Exactly, yeah. That was the other thing that you could see right away at United Cup. Tries to rotate back right away rather than go up with her racket and her elbow. And that gives her a bit more time on that side. Did really well against Katie Bolter and Elena Rybakina, 2 big hitters, which she traditionally doesn't like to play so much. But won both those matches, you know, hardly fought battles, and she did very well there.
Yeah, 4 wins for Swiatek at the United Cup. 3 of them very good wins, in fact, over Bolter, Mukova and Rybakina.
There was some tough draws on the women's side at United Cup.
14-15.
Some good pace on the Siniakova first serve. She's 5'9". Definitely one of the strengths she'll bring to the court. And the backhand is another one. That's a beauty there.
That is her weapon of choice, both in singles and doubles. You can see her moving out of the way of the forehand here, which usually players opt to use their forehand from the center of the court. Not so much Siniakova, who has one of the best backhands on the women's side. Nice, simple technique. Moves through the ball with her entire body weight. Gets really good pace on it. Has added that serve on the second. Iga Swiatek, that slice used to only go for the kick and became a bit predictable, but has changed that in recent times.
Quality tennis from Swiatek. Tail end of last year, we mentioned, added Wim Fizet to her team as the coach, having split with Thomas Wiktorowski. Been with her for 3 or so years, since 2021. Fizet with an incredible resume, really, with a number of top players, including Naomi Osaka, who picked up the title here a couple of times. And he'll be happy with the forehand that he's been working on there. High quality tennis from both players early on here. And we're going with serve so far.
Swiatek leads 2 games to 1 for
moves ahead 2-1.
Well, and here we have the improved serve, and Wim Fizet was very clear about this only being a stepping stone. They want to make it even more fluid, and you can see her here just going a bit more in a fluid motion back, whereas it's still a little disjointed, right? Ideally, you would want both arms to go at the same time, so there is still some work to be done. But nice trophy position here, gets nice up and high, great jump. This is one of her strengths, her footwork. Right away, the dynamic steps and adjustments, and then here's the forehand. Just a small take back now, and the big spin is still there. Just fantastic technique, really, all around.
Plenty of smiles here at the Happy Slam, day 2 from Melbourne Park. We are basking in the Melbourne sunshine. And it's been a good start to this one so far.
Loves the tee serve, Siniakova, but it's really hard to read because she kind of tosses the ball as if she was going for the slice serve.
It's a 9-time Grand Slam champion in women's doubles. I had to double check that when I saw it.
Yes.
Including 2 here at the Australian Open 2022 and 23 with her compatriot Barbora Krejcikova. The pair also won the Olympic gold medal in Tokyo. So she is a decorated player, albeit not necessarily in singles, but a reminder, 5 tour titles in singles, so she knows what she's doing.
Fault.
Yeah, it's too good from Swiatek.
Yeah, 3 years in a row, Iga Swiatek has led second serve return points won because of her aggressive stance and also how she plays the next ball. Never lets go. Now it's a battle between her and Sabalenka, who has improved in that regard. But you do not want to use too many second serves against Iga.
It's a potential battle for the world #1 position between those two, and indeed Coco Gauff in with a chance here. We have those three players with the potential to finish this Australian Open as the world #1. Swiatek would need it. Relatively early losses, I think, from Sabalenka and Gauff. Oh, that's beautiful. From Siniakova.
Yeah, very nicely done. The forehand side is the one that can break down under pressure. But when she has a bit of time and can lean on it, still a dangerous shot, as you can see here. Great change of direction.
And there's the doubles prize coming to the fore. Some tidy work at the net. And Siniakova levels us up here.
2 games all, first set.
The early evidence is just as we thought, Andrea. It's certainly been competitive so far. Siniakova not afraid of this challenge.
Yeah, she has beaten #1 at a Grand Slam tournament before, Naomi Osaka on clay. Okay, not Naomi's favorite surface, the clay courts. We will give her that, but still, it's a big win. Nice.
15.
Oh, too good.
15.
Not letting Swiatek have this all her own way by any means.
And that's why they have been making these adjustments on serve for Iga Swiatek to have more free points, to help herself out in those tough, crucial moments. Gets the ace here.
The quality just keeps on coming.
Yes, absolutely. And you could see a bit of a exasperated look on Iga Swiatek's face, and this is Siniakova at her very best. As I said, the forehand usually tends to break down, but no sign of that happening today, so she's playing at the very top of her game.
Yeah, it's another big first serve for Swiatek. The work she's done with her new coach, Wim Fizet. Certainly looking good so far. 10 of 13 first serves have found the target. I thought about playing it, but in the end made the right decision just to let it go long. High quality 5 games here on John Cain Arena. Well, it's competitive stuff. Well, number 50, Siniakova, 2-3.
And Swiatek still looking for the ideal return position, especially on second serve. And you can see Siniakova's second serve speed is very high, over 150 k's per hour. She's risking a lot on these second serves, knowing how well Swiatek returns.
And there is the risk-reward scenario for Siniakova, and that's her coaching box.
Empty, huh?
It certainly is. Her coach, Peter Huber, will try and locate him, but he's certainly not in there.
No.
Coaches have the option. And I guess ultimately the players have the option whether to have their coach there or not.
Yeah.
I think most seem keen so far to get as close to the court as they can. Of course, coaching allowed now, so they can pass on some information and support.
Again, that run around the forehand to play a backhand.
Well, it's certainly working so far.
Yeah, very well, working very well. And I spoke to Darren Cahill, actually, Jannik Sinner's coach, and he said they will prefer to sit in the stands just because of the view. He says the aerial view is better for strategic purposes rather than to sit on the court. Which I can understand. You get a better sense of where the ball is placed.
And also a player like Sinner and with his coach, maybe not too much engagement, trying to get on with things. Bit of pressure here for Siniakova. First break point of the match. And that's all Iga Swiatek needs. Works the point onto the Czech's forehand, gets the error she was looking for. And starts to put a bit of breathing space between the two.
And this is a perfect example of what we say, what we mean when we say, oh, have we found the box of Siniakova here? Possibly. Possibly.
I don't see her coach Peter Huber in there. Certainly some accreditations though. We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Out.
But just to finish my thought, this is exactly what we mean when we say somebody has a weakness, and I'm making quote-unquote marks, even though nobody can see me in the commentator's booth doing that. It doesn't mean that her forehand is bad. It's still better than 90% of these people in the world. But against the best in the world, it will break down probably in important situations, as we saw here on break point.
Yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? And so often it's the reliability of the shot, isn't it? As you say, under pressure. We've seen some forehand winners.
Exactly.
But when the moment came, the break point, it let her down.
Yeah. And I think we hold these players to a very high standard, so that's always something to keep in the back of everyone's mind.
The change-up wasn't far from making it. Just in danger. Siniakova of losing away here slightly. Swiatek keeping the quality very high. That's what she does, isn't it? So intense.
Yeah, reminds me a lot of Steffi Graf, actually, in that regard, that intensity. It feels like, are you a football fan, soccer fan?
Yes.
So it feels like, you know, the Guardiola invented this high pressing situation where they will choke you almost with a high defending position until you make a mistake. That's how it feels playing Iga, and I've practiced so many times with her. You will play well until a certain point, and eventually you just start making judgment errors, mistakes that you normally won't do, and it is that intensity and pressure that she puts on you, point in, point out. That's why I really love watching her play in her game.
Andrea Petkovic, the soccer tactician.
Expert.
I like the analogy, very nice.
To be fair, I don't know nothing about it, but I read a thing about Guardiola's pressing, and it made me think of Iga Swiatek right away. That's why I bring it up, because that's how it feels playing her.
Well, the forehand fires this time, and 4-2-40 love becomes juice. Just a potentially sticky situation here for Swiatek.
Just dropped one a little short there, and Siniakova went for it, but another quality baseline rally between the two for a first round encounter where everyone is nervous. This is some good quality here.
Use.
Maybe not by much, but the electronic line calling making the call. Yeah, just missing. Swiatek still looking to consolidate the break here.
Advantage Siniakova.
It's another close call, but this time Siniakova finds the baseline. And this was looking like a very straightforward game here for Swiatek. Remember, led 40-love. Now finds herself facing her first break point of the day.
Yeah, just staring down that baseline. The lines are very slippery here. When you catch it, it can slide through. And that's the smart way to go. In an important moment, go to the weaker of the two shots. Iga showing off her tennis IQ, gets the unforced error.
Again, Swiatek just drops the ball a little short. And Siniakova doesn't need a second invitation to step up. It's already 7 winners from the baseline the Czech has hit. That is brilliant from Siniakova. An intense point. And it's the unseeded player who comes out on top. We've got ourselves a match on our hands here on Cain Arena. Little careless from Swiatek. 40-love up, couple of errors, maybe the focus, but credit to Siniakova for making her pay.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just a bit conservative there. Iga on 40-love, hoped to get some loose errors. Siniakova did not give that to her. And what another fantastic baseline rally here. This is some great tennis. Take a look at the depth of Iga Swiatek. This is an incredible feat by Siniakova to get out of this. Great defensive skills. Then turning defense into offense with that beautiful backhand.
Time.
Not been the happiest of hunting grounds for Iga Swiatek, relatively speaking, of course. 5-time Grand Slam champion, but 4 of those with the clay court under her feet at Roland Garros. And the world number 50 from Czechia, Katerina Siniakova giving us some problems here.
Love it.
Yeah, and I think that's a good play. I think she should try and go for that side now with returns, because you can see whenever Siniakova gets a good serve in and gets to use her backhand, Swiatek is in trouble right away.
It just felt like a bit more speed on the ball there from Swiatek as well. New balls in play here. Again, that tactic pays dividends. We had 5 solid holds of serve to start this contest. Swiatek now with 2 chances for our 3rd straight break. And there is the break. It's what champions do. No sign of any disappointment from the previous game. And again, she's got herself in front here. New coach Wim Fizet there, the white t-shirt.
I see some positive nodding.
Yeah, it seemed like some tactical input there.
Maybe a few tips on where to serve, because she did have that 40-love lead and then lost the service game.
Bit of time on that forehand and make very good use of it. Incidentally, with Wim Fizet, it's the first non-Polish coach of Swiatek's career. Just a different dynamic, isn't it? You know, communicating in English. Maybe a different view or perspective on the game.
first serve percentage just dropped a bit here for Iga. But gets one when she needs one. Well done. That is the thing with this higher kilometers per hour count that she gets on her serve. She also takes more risks on it. So she will have phases. And I was at United Cup too, where she has games, doesn't make enough first serves. And here we have a ball kid struggling with something.
Here's a feather.
Oh.
Floating onto the court. Swiatek's feet as light as a feather as she skips around another forehand.
Beautiful segue, Colin.
Thank you. Trying my best. It's been a quality first set, a competitive one. Swiatek here with a chance to close it out. Yeah, that's another nice forehand that does the job.
First set by 6 games to 3.
Polish fans celebrate, and Swiatek got herself up and running here on Cain Arena. Takes the first set, 6-3. Well, a very enjoyable set of tennis, first and foremost, and I think overall Swiatek will be happy with her work.
I think so. And we had it yesterday. I called the match exactly on this arena with Paula Badosa, who also had a tough first round opponent. And I think it strengthens your teeth. And we see it here. Winners, 8 for Iga, 7 for Katerina. It just shows you 15 winners in a first set at a Grand Slam first round. Those are very, very good stats. This is high quality tennis that we've seen here. And maybe on the first serve of Siniakova, she could get a bit higher to get herself in better position there. But other than that, this was a fantastic set of tennis from both women. And Iga Swiatek should be very happy with how she's played.
Is it A, B, Aryna Sabalenka, or C, Coco Gauff? What do we think, Cain Arena? A, B, or C? Okay, we've had a meeting of the minds. What's the answer, fellas?
B, Sabalenka.
That is correct. Give a round of applause. $50 in the sky rocket for these gentlemen.
Plenty of fans inside this Cain Arena. Forecast to be over 1 million fans across the tournament again this year. Incredible event this Australian Open has become and continues to grow and evolve. Stars like Iga Swiatek are very much front and center as part of that. It's a quality first set. In fact, if I was Katerina Siniakova, I might be bemoaning this draw.
Yeah.
She's playing well enough to beat a lot of first-round opponents, but
Second set.
True.
it's the luck of the draw. She's going to stay positive out here.
Siniakova to serve.
Yeah, and it's almost like she's being punished for being such a good doubles player, because how much more energy could she possibly put in her singles career if she wasn't so good and had to stay at every tournament until the end?
Well, it's a good point you make, because let's say she focused more on singles, got inside the top 32 in the world to be seeded here.
Yeah.
Then you're not playing the second seed in the first round.
Exactly.
It could snowball.
It's a tough ask. We saw it with players like Coco Gauff, Aryna Sabalenka, who were fantastic doubles players at the beginning of their career, and then sort of put that aside to focus more on the singles. Barbora Krejcikova has made that move recently a bit more as well. Honestly, I wouldn't know what I would do. Thank God I was never in the position, because I didn't know how to play doubles to save my life.
Come on, let's hear it. You're the new coach of Katerina Siniakova. She's got 9 Grand Slam doubles titles already. Do you say keep going as you are, or do you say, okay, you're 28, let's have a few years of prioritizing singles?
I think I might do that, yeah. Because I really see a lot of potential in her as a singles player. She moves well, returns well, good serve. It would need a bit of technical work on the serve and the forehand side, but nothing that she wouldn't be able to do.
I can tell you're a singles player at heart.
Yes, I'd say why not?
You're not a team player, Andrea.
I'm not a team player. And then once she's 30, 31, she can still have another 5-6 years of fantastic doubles.
And you can still play the slams and doubles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe just not be world #1 for a couple of years. Anyway.
It's tough.
Iga Swiatek has been the world #1 in singles for, well, the best part of 3 seasons. Been knocked off that perch of late. One of the keys to getting back there has to be improving again on the hard courts, you would think.
On the quicker hard courts, particularly. She does very well on the slower hard courts. If we think of Indian Wells, where she's won multiple times, Doha, she's won multiple times. Those are all slower hard courts that have a gritty feel to them, make the ball jump. And I think the adjustment she's making with the serve and the quicker rotation on the forehand are all leading towards being able to play better on the quicker hard courts as well.
And we'd count these as quicker hard courts.
I would say so, yeah.
Well, a good second serve, but an awkward return from Swiatek, proving too much.
First game, second set.
She's got herself a break of serve to start this second set. Just feels now that she's really got this match where she wants it. In fact, the only game she's lost was serving at 4-2, where she led 40-love. That's since getting the initial break. Chance for Swiatek to move through the gears, perhaps.
Yeah, that's the trouble with these top players. They are just such great front runners. Although here at the Australian Open, Iga Swiatek had traditionally trouble closing out those first set leads, but just in generally, they just swing freer, they move freer, and they become better and better the more they lead. And here we have it, Colin. Both really good ball strikers, but you see the big difference in the rotation per minute. Iga Swiatek very high up on the topspin rate with 2,406. You the ability to pull off angles like this. Yes, it clipped the net a bit, but it was still unplayable. And we had Paula Badosa on here yesterday, who also has a heavy forehand, and she was at around 2,300. So it just gives you an idea of how heavy these forehands are. Iga Swiatek gets even more out of that wing.
Well, there's the top spin again, breaking the angle. And the work she's doing on the forehand with Coach Fizet, obviously beautifully illustrating the benefits of the spin rate there. Is it more the reliability of the shot? Is it the ability to create power? What, when the changes are being made, it's why is the question.
Yeah, nicely done.
Okay,
To me, Iga's forehand is her biggest weapon. But traditionally, she's had trouble when somebody can pound it over and over again with very flat, deep ground strokes. Now we wish we had microphones, right? So we could just be little spies there.
I think it'll be pretty positive feedback after that game.
Yeah.
Keep doing that.
So I think he will just want to sort of erase that vulnerability when she plays those big hitting women like Aryna Sabalenka or Elena Rybakina or last year Linda Noskova, with keeping that spin rate and that heaviness that she has to her forehand. And because she is so talented, I think they know as a team that she can do that and that she can pull it off, and I think that's just the next step in her development.
Well, that's big tennis in what feels like a big game for Siniakova. Match starting to slip away for her. Needs to hold serve here. Second double fault for Siniakova. Doesn't want to put too much pressure on herself. Swiatek's doing a good enough job of it. Again, the forehand just breaks down, drifts long. You just feel as if the will is close to being broken here. Chance for Iga Swiatek to really cut Siniakova loose. Very nearly got there. It's a big slice of luck. It just keeps the Czech player in this game.
Well, in Germany, we have a saying that luck is on the side of the disciplined. So the harder you work, the more luck you get.
I like that.
Translate it into the English language. That is so foreign to me.
Fortune favours the brave is another one.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And I guess she went for the forehand, so...
Advantage, Siniakova.
Did well just to put the brakes on there, not run into the net, which would have lost her the point.
And that is again that heaviness, right? If she had just hit it flat, that forehand, Siniakova might have gotten to it, but it just gets away. It just feels like you're chasing the ball and it gets away from you the more you chase it. That's what spin does to these ground strokes. Tough as an opponent to read it and get behind it in time.
Advantage, Siniakova.
Oh, yes.
Beauty.
Just clips the line. And that is a great moment and a really gutsy hold of serve. Well played, Katerina Siniakova. 2-1 Swiatek, second set. Thought she'd missed this backhand, Siniakova, but no call came. Let's have another look.
This was already great defending. That was a tough shot. And then take a look. Well, look, she takes her racket back so early that once she is in time, she still has time to fully swing through it. That's not easy to do. Great coordination. And it just felt like a lifeline here. Otherwise, this would have gone probably fairly quickly.
Nice little glance to Swiatek as well. How did you like that?
Tennis is a sport of intimidation.
Plenty of support around the world for Iga Swiatek. She'll certainly be grateful for it at this stage of her career after all she's been through in the previous few months. Things going well for her so far here. Leads by a set and a break.
Oh, wow. Seems to have a bit of a cuff, Katerina. She almost seems better on the run because she has more space on her ground strokes. It feels like when she gets it into herself, she sometimes doesn't create enough space. That's where the misses seem to come from.
15-13.
Is annoyed with herself here. Iga Swiatek doesn't miss too many of the passing shots. Loves to have a target at the net.
Oh, that is brilliant. And I think we're just seeing the importance here of the previous game. Felt like the Siniakova head, was going down slightly, but she dug in. She showed a lot of fight and a couple of chances here to get right back into this. Oh, she's found another winner. She's got fire here.
Yeah, very, very good stretch of play for Katerina Siniakova here. And I think sometimes as an opponent, as Iga Swiatek in this moment, you just have to cut your losses and accept that the opponent played 2 brilliant games. Yes, she's had a couple of opportunities at 2-0 to go up a double break, but this was just a brilliantly contested game from Siniakova. And you just have to continue doing what you do and see whether she can keep up this level for an entire set.
Oh, can't stop hitting winners.
Yes.
It's 8 now in this second set for the Czech.
And this is actually a great test for Iga Swiatek, who in the past, especially last year where things were not going perfectly well for her, used to get very anxious in these situations when her opponents would have these stretches of fantastic play. And Wim Fissette talked about it at United Cup, that he wanted to have her understand that she can just, with a good game, keep in this moments until the other one sort of breaks down to a normal level again. Whereas before she would panic and try to go for more and help the opponent with unforced errors of her own. So this is a fantastic test for her to put this strategy from her coach to use.
Yes, trying to find that sort of perfect state, isn't it, of being intense without being tense.
That's
She
so
is
hard to do.
a very intense player, isn't she, mentally and physically, but try and stay relaxed in these moments when your opponent's coming back at you, as you say. Yeah, and that was a magnificent serve. It swings away into the corner. And that's 3 games in a row for the unseeded player.
Siniakova, 3 games to 2.
He's putting a halt on Swiatek's progress here. Been some positives for Swiatek, definitely, but I think we've also seen maybe a few of the reasons why these quicker hard courts are a challenge for her, especially against a player like Siniakova, hitting hard and flat and going for her shots. Been a fascinating contest so far.
Yeah, she really had this, I have to say, bad luck at the Australian Open to draw these type of players that don't suit her very well. If you think about it, last year, Collins in the second round, Noskova in the third round. Now Siniakova, who has a similar type of game, very flat. We showed the trajectory of the two balls earlier, very flat ground strokes.
Melbourne Park. That is the Kia Arena in the foreground. And then our current home, the John Cain Arena. Of course, it's a huge sporting precinct here in Melbourne. And as we said, plenty of Polish support for Iga Swiatek. Katerina Siniakova is playing a much higher level than 50 in the world right now.
A much higher level.
It just feels like she got to a set and 2-love down and almost said, well, I've kind of already lost. This is getting away from it. I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah. And she hasn't missed the ball, I think, in 3-4 games now. 3 games at least. Well, this one goes wide. At least this one, I think Iga Swiatek is thinking, because she's been hammered from the other side for the past few games here. Very nice hands here, showed some great skill in the mixed doubles at United Cup. Iga Swiatek a few times was the best player on court.
Beautifully constructed point.
Fault.
Poland with that run in the United Cup, eventually halted by the winners, the United States. A little bit made of the handshake between Swiatek and Coco Gauff at the end. Gauff getting the better of her for the second straight time, having won at the WTA finals. But I think they've cleared the air. It was just disappointment, nothing personal. Swiatek was asked pre-tournament about how the reaction has been in the locker room, you know, to the news or to her, you know, doping case, her ban, and she said she'd actually felt quite supported by a number of players.
Well, I think with her it was a quite straightforward case with the contamination of a prescribed medication. It's different than when you buy things at a chemist, for example. There are different rules. The contamination was a grain of salt in an Olympic swimming pool. That was the amount found. So I think many players have that fear that they take something, some supplement that is contaminated.
Yeah, that was struck with real authority.
And I like the last two forehands. She put a bit more trajectory on it and was able to push Siniakova back behind the baseline before going for a flatter shot. Here again. Yeah, that's beautifully played. Might have gotten a bit too much into the flat striking before, and that's why Siniakova was playing so well.
Yeah, it just feels like she's flicked the turbo switch here, Swiatek.
Yeah, you can see how she gets nice under the ball and up above. To have that forehand, Colin, huh? You and me could never.
If only. And the backhand, and the serve, and the movement.
And the mental strength.
Where do we stop?
15-30.
Just pushes it wide. Again, the progress halted. Few slightly anxious looks on the faces of Swiatek's team. Big point here, 3-all, 30-all. Big serve delivered by Siniakova.
Fault.
And again, that slightly different trajectory. I really think that's what she should continue to do until the end of the match, because clearly Siniakova here is feeling her ground strokes very well, is playing very well, and Iga needs to try and keep it out of her strike zone now.
Well, it's the forehand that let her down in the latter stages of the opening set. History potentially repeating itself here. Yeah, 3 forehands missed in a row. And Swiatek Has once more got the break here. Just a couple of games now away from round 2.
Second set, and by 1 set to love.
It's frustrating from Siniakova's point of view, isn't it? Disheartening.
Yeah.
The same thing happens again.
Yeah, and especially when you are feeling like you're playing your best tennis for stretches of the game, and still somehow she never was able, and that's such a strength from these top players, not only Iga Swiatek, all of them. Their strength when others have good stretches of play to just hang with them, be there. Don't have a 4-1 down, but be at a 2-all, be at a 3-all. And then when the play drops, they are there and they take the opportunity. That's why it's so hard to beat them. You have to you have to make these stretches of great play really, really long in order to have a chance against them.
Well, sometimes at the Grand Slams, in the women's singles, you see the top seeds sort of cruise through in the early rounds, but that has certainly not been the case here. We've had the best part in an hour and a quarter of these two really going at it. Second seed Iga Swiatek has new balls in hand here, and she's serving a set and a break, 4-3 in the second.
Yeah, now that you mention it, all 3 top seeds on the women's side, really tough draws. 2 former Grand Slam champions, Sabalenka got Stevens, Goff got Cain. And Swiatek here, also a Grand Slam champion. Yes, in doubles, but a Grand Slam champion is a Grand Slam champion.
Sabalenka and Goff both able to advance. Swiatek looking like she'll be able to do the same here. This Cain Arena will be getting plenty of attention later on this evening.
Oh, yes.
You would think this the second of 4 matches scheduled on here. 5 p.m. local time. We'll see Jess Pegula, the 7th seed, in action, and that will be followed by the return to the Australian Open of Nick Kyrgios, playing on his home here at Melbourne Park, the Cain Arena. He's taking on my fellow Scot, Andrea.
I know.
Jacob Fernley.
Big fan of Jacob Fernley. I am. I will tell you so much. Saw him against Novak Djokovic in Wimbledon. Really liked him, so...
I thought you were just going to say you love the Scots.
I love the Scots.
That
Sorry,
as well.
I forgot to mention that.
Of course. No, that will be a great match. Not to mention the atmosphere and everything that will come with it. Anyway, back to this one. Serving to stay in it, Siniakova.
And that's the one thing I wish to see from Iga over the course of the season with Wim Fissette by her side. She sometimes becomes very stubborn on her return position, doesn't budge when she plays very good players.
Just the ability to go deeper sometimes.
Yes, she almost never does it, no matter how strong the servers are. And she did actually do that against Elena Rybakina at the United Cup and managed to get one of the few wins against her. So I'm thinking with Wim Fissette by her side, maybe she will be able to make that adjustment. Because she's such an aggressive returner, you don't want to take that away from her. But on first serve, sometimes the only goal is to neutralize the first serve somehow, whichever way you can.
Fault.
13-15.
Brings out the slice forehand there, and it disrupts the rhythm of Swiatek.
Fault.
Risking a lot here on those second serves is Siniakova.
We've seen a number of those throughout the match. Again, Siniakova continues to fight. And after the break, Iga Swiatek will serve for this match. Completely agree with you, Andrea. A tough first round draw here. There are easier opponents for sure, but in terms of the seeds, probably a good draw for Swiatek, you'd have to say, with Sabalenka, Goff, Jung, all in the top half.
I agree, yeah.
Nina Rybakina is in this bottom half. That's a potential match for Swiatek, as is Jasmine Paolini, the 4th seed.
It's just crazy to me that, again, she has big hitters on her way. If you think about Alexandrova, or even if a Anisimova gets through Amanda, who played the 4th round here last year, those are the type of players Iga Swiatek traditionally doesn't like too much.
An hour and 19 minutes on the match clock. Iga Swiatek here with an opportunity to put this one to bed. The recent work on the serve with new coach Wim Fizette paying off here. Focused on the task at hand. And that's what you love when you're trying to serve out a match. 3 quick points. And Swiatek now has 3 match points.
Thank you.
Iga Swiatek is up and running at the Australian Open. It's our first Grand Slam match. It's a turbulent end to 2024. She's able to come through in straight sets and entertaining a high-quality first-round contest, but ultimately able to come through and prevail in the bigger moments and get the better here of Katerina Siniakova. Just over an hour and 20 minutes in the end, as Swiatek gets it done, 6-3, 6-4.
Yeah, very solid match against a very difficult opponent. And Katerina Siniakova should be very happy with her performance. I think she can build on this level of play that she showed at times. And Iga Swiatek definitely arrived at the Australian Open after this hard-fought 2-set win.
Yeah, and good to see Siniakova taking the moment, sign a few autographs. She'll go away and focus on the doubles now. Part of the top-seeded team alongside Taylor Townsend. And I'm sure Iga Swiatek will be delighted to get this win under her belt. It wasn't easy. And probably not the best performance we've ever seen from her, but for a first round, there was signs of some real quality. And ultimately able to come through in the bigger moments, as so often the big players do.
Yeah, and I just love that she was able to maintain her levels of energy during those stretches of play when Siniakova really seemed to be hitting winners all over, remained fairly calm, and now we will hear from her and what she has to say about this whole endeavor.
Well, Iga, congratulations. We rarely see you actually here inside Cain Arena, but all the Polish fans that are here today absolutely love that one. Katerina showed some moments of brilliance throughout that entire match, so what did you make of your start to AO 2025?
Well, for sure it wasn't an easy first round, so I'm happy that I'm through. Yeah, Katerina, for sure, you know, I know her from playing doubles against her, so she's not an easy opponent. And yeah, I felt like, you know, she was playing really well, and I just needed to be more proactive when I wanted to. And at the end, in a second set, I did that, so I'm happy.
New to Australian Open 2025 are these player boxes on the court. Your coach was there, Wim for set. Do you like having Wim that close, or would you prefer him to stay a little bit further away?
No, I like it. I like when he's close. We had a nice, you know, practice kind of on United Cup because he was literally next to me on the bench and he had to coach me. So here it's a little bit different because obviously, he's not going to be able to say as many stuff as on United Cup, but I just knew what I had to do today, so I didn't feel like I needed the coaching, but for sure during the tournament there are going to be moments when I'm going to use that.
One of the most iconic sights in world tennis is when you walk onto the court wearing those headphones. What we want to know is what was in those headphones today? Is it meditation sounds, rock and roll music, perhaps Australian music?
No, I shouldn't meditate before the match. I would be like too soft and too nice. So rock music as usual, and these headphones are new. I got them for Christmas. They're kind of personalized, so I love them. And yeah, it was probably the best gift I got this year, so I'm happy.
And finally, Iga, what is your ultimate walkout song? Do you have a favorite song?
I love Pearl Jam, but now it's mostly AC/DC and what? And Led Zeppelin. But you know, the speaker at the beginning of the match said that I'm listening to rock all the time. It's not true. I wouldn't be able to sleep. So only before matches, but mostly it's just light pop or even some jazz. So you gotta update that. But Taylor Swift, the info about Taylor Swift was right.
Okay, we're going to blast some AC/DC in celebration for you. Moving through to round two, Iga Swiatek, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, nice interview there with Duncan Mackenzie McCargan. Good to hear that Santa made it to Iga's house this Christmas.
Oh, there we have the headphones. Nice touch here from our production team. And Akadaka is what they call it here, I heard. And nice touch.
Yeah, Iga can get down to AC/DC Lane in the CBD.
Yeah.
Beautiful street there with all the artwork, a tribute to the great Aussie band. Likes a classic rock. It was a good performance here from the great Swiatek. A good start to her year so far. The loss to Goff in the final of the United Cup, but some good wins there, and I thought she looked pretty impressive for a first-round match here at the Australian Open.
Sending my love to Malibu and LA. That's a very lovely message.
Well, aren't we all? Yeah, the devastation that we're seeing there. That's a nice message from Swiatek.
Always somebody who keeps up with the news and is very on top of things.
Always plenty of fans looking for an autograph or a selfie with Swiatek. She's going to move on to face Slovakian Rebeka Šramkova. She came through against Katie Volinets and Andrea. Here's the match summary, an hour and 21 minutes in the end, and a pretty high quality match.
Yeah, it was a very high quality match. We see the 19 winners on Siniakova's side, who played a fantastic match at stretches. And Iga Swiatek goes out at a +2, more winners hit than unforced errors, and I think she will be very happy with that against a difficult opponent. As she said, she knew what to do, and she did it well for most of the time. And I think players usually like to have a little bit of resilience in the first few rounds just to get used to it. When you cruise too much, once the resilience comes, you are kind of thrown, and you don't want that.
Beautiful day here at Melbourne Park, and there's confirmation. Iga Swiatek, the second seed, through to face Šramkova of Slovakia. Some dangerous names: Alexandrova, Raducanu, and Isimova. Not the easiest of draws. Swiatek is through to round 2. Andrea, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your brilliant insights as always.
This has been a pleasure, as all mine, and we get to work together again for the Carlitos Alcaraz match.
I can only apologize, can you believe it? But from us here on the John Cain Arena, we're going to leave you for now. Stick around for plenty more good tennis to come today.
Commencing at around 5 p.m. and that will be featuring Australia's Maya Juen taking on Jessica Pegula of the United States, and that will be followed by a men's singles match at 7 p.m. with Australia's own Nick Kyrgios taking on Jacob Bergen. But for now, we ask you to just clear the arena, and we hope you enjoyed your day here at Australian Open 2025, and we'll see you again soon.
Okay. Hello, happy Australian Open. It's day 2.
Go Tsitsipas! Yes!
Off you go, let's walk. Oh, Chile!
And seals it with an ace. I mean, the last 3 shots from Coco are landing just inside that baseline. Coco Gauff gets the win. Tough match. 6-3, 6-3, moves into the second round here at the Australian Open.